What is up, everybody? Welcome back. We are week 32 headed into in 2024. Crazy to think that we're basically entering into the bulk of August coming here, and let me just tell you, it is the dog days of summer out there. The amount of people that have reached out to me about just the heat and how it's affecting them, and really just on that is, yes, training in the heat is good for you if done right. You have to slow down, stay in your zones. That's why it's important to know what they are, especially for heart rate. Your pace is going to suffer. That's fine. And that's okay. But if you're out there and you can be consistent with your training, you're fueling properly, and you're kind of trying to stay in the right intensities that we need to be in as far as heart rate, it'll pay dividends as this weather finally will break and cool off. It'll do a lot of things for your body, and you're going to wind up, reaping the benefits of that on the other side. As far as those that are in for this Jones Beach 70.3, the bulk of the people that are here and the people that I'm training right now is, we're basically in that 16-week build. We're halfway there. We just finished week 8, a little bit of a deload week for most athletes that are preparing for that. If you did the training right and didn't overdo it the first 2 blocks of training, and with the base building and everything like that, we're stepping into the time now of really stepping up that level of fitness and the fatigue that we're going to build over the next 3-4 week period. So it's very imperative now to just kind of stay with the plan, stay with your intensities, stay with the volume that's called for. Don't really do too much more now that we're getting into this, because you're going to have some big key workouts coming up that you're going to need to be basically recovered and ready for. And if we're not going to hit those properly, and they're not going to feel great, especially the first timers that are hitting these distances, it's hard. Endurance is hard, or if you haven't hit these distances in a while. But just remember this, though, that you're in training, you're holding this level of fatigue all throughout the plan, and then also, it's going to be different on race day. You're going to be peaked in fitness, hopefully, peaking into the race. You're going to be tapering into it. You're going to feel fresh for that race day. This is all about just doing work on days when your body is kind of tired, and we have to get through it. And that's why fueling's so important. And just understand that how you feel in training is not how you're going to feel on race day. I can guarantee you that. And that'll come with experience as you go through more blocks of training, more seasons, and more start lines. And that goes while we're out there now. Learn the numbers, know kind of where you need to be. If we've done testing for power, for heart rate, for pacing, understand where those are and understand what the numbers are. Not so you can look at your watch and it'll tell you what zone you're in, but you should know the numbers. You should kind of know, especially for the bulk of your training, easy runs and things like that, where you should be heart rate wise, where you should be pace wise, power wise on the bike. You should know these numbers. They're gonna pay off once we talk about potential pacing plans for your races and things like that. So going out knowing that you need to be at certain whatever heart rate zone range for this run, or if we're doing a pace zone or power zone, whatever it is, just try and remember those numbers. It'll just help you stay in the moment, staying present with your body, and knowing how that effort feels. If we're calling for an easy effort and it's zone 1, zone 2, and the numbers aren't lining up to the RPE level, because RPE is golden. Like RPE, we need to know it, we need to live it, we need to know how it feels and how it represents certain zones. So when we talk about how did that feel, how'd that workout feel, how'd that session feel, you can kind of gauge and tell me on a scale of 1 to 10 on RPE how it felt. And then now, once you're out there, that's when we can validate the data, where if you're like, hey, I was in that zone, but it felt easy, maybe we need to retest. Maybe you've gotten fitter. Maybe you've gotten more power on the bike. Your FTP's gone up. So we need to retest possibly, and then, we can go out there, do some more training, and then validate those new numbers. And it's just going to be a cyclical process, especially as the season goes on and as you, do your training properly and increase your fitness. But we got to know that RP is very important, because as a coach, I can see all this data that's rolling in. I can see training peaks. I can see all these graphs and charts and where you are, where you're fitting in the zones, and are you, in them. But data can sometimes be inconsistent depending what devices you're using. So there's one thing that I can't do, and that's find out how you feel. how the workout felt, how you're feeling for, acutely for those few days, or chronically for the last week or two, kind of like what's been going on, how's it feeling. So sometimes like I'll see a session pop up, I'll look at the data, I'll kind of get a guesstimate of how it should have felt for you, and that's when I ask the question, hey, how'd it feel? So I can see, are your feelings validating what the data says? And if they're starting to become off more frequently than not, we have to dive in and try and fix some of that, or see what's going on. Maybe there's some underlying things going on. At the end of the day, though, after all said and done, are we out there having some hard fun? And hard fun doesn't mean turning yourself inside out, repping to failure every time, coming back, feeling like a pail of crap after every workout, every session, or every week, because that's not fitness, and that's not how long course training needs to be for us age groupers. We just don't have the ability to turn ourselves inside out, recover all day, go through all these recovery protocols, get out tomorrow, smash it again, or have this such amount of volume in training where we can smash it more often. And that's why I reiterate from time to time that this 80-20 form of training is actually more important for age groupers, because we're not training 15, 20 plus hours a week. Our training, if we train 1 hour a day, base building season, and you're training for 6 hours a week, 6 sessions, that 20% becomes a lot smaller amount. You can't just 4 out of 6 hours just go smash yourself every week. That's not how you build endurance. And hey, and you know what? If you push too hard during a workout, we know it happens. Maybe we were calling for something, but you went for a group run, a group ride, you pushed a little bit. Just adjust. Hey, this Saturday we went out for a ride, got a little spicy on the back end of it, put some power in, we were pushing each other a little bit. That's okay. It was a good day, felt kind of good. We pushed on the bike. That's all well and great. Had a long run today, this morning, the day after that. We also had track session on Friday. So I went into, waking up today with some fatigue on my legs, and I knew that. That's fine. Readjust. Keep that effort super easy. There's no need to push it. Slow it down a little bit more. Really keep that heart rate where it needs to be. Fuel properly. Get on with it. Recover. Jump into the next week, and you'll be fine. So those are the decisions that I keep saying. I bring up this word and these decisions. I didn't really understand this the first few years that I was in endurance sports, was how important it is to make these decisions yourself out there. And now you have a coach, so a coach is helping you kind of help with some of these decisions. But at the end of the day, I'm trying to mold you into being able to make your own decisions. And these decisions are going to come in training. They're going to come on race day. If we can learn to make these decisions in training, though, making them on race day will be that much easier. And these are decisions I'm talking about where, hey, you thought you were going to get up and do a 5K test or something like that because it was on the schedule, and we spoke about it, and I said, hey, make sure you make a good decision that day. If they're calling for the hottest day of the week, maybe we can push it. It's not imperative. I'd rather you have a good session and a good result. And, all of a sudden you sleep in a little bit, you wake up a little late, and you say, I can still knock this out, and you head out, and it goes to shit real quick. Well, that might have been a poor decision. But lesson learned. There's no such thing as failure in endurance. We learn from these things, and we get better with them and make better decisions in the future. Or, hey, with the heat, or just smashing runs on bikes when we're not supposed to all the time. Once in a while we can get away with pushing a little bit, but if it becomes this chronic thing over and over again, I can assure you, especially with this middle and long course stuff, it's going to catch up to you. And it's going to catch up to you to one day when you wake up and something's bothering you and we've developed some type of overuse injury. Now, besides the fact that we didn't do the training in the zones we should have been doing them in for the past few weeks or months, then that's going to affect your your progress, because you're not building the parts of your body you need to build. Is potentially now you're going to take time off because it's due to some injury or something silly like that. So longevity is the name of the game here, making smart decisions. That's what we need to do going into this latter half of the season for these big A races that everyone's going to be having coming up at the end of this year. It's just decisions, decisions, decisions. Rest and recovery is going to start to play huge again as volume is starting to peak for everybody. Again, dive into that rest and recovery video that I posted a little while back. It'll give you some nice tips, tricks, and methods, because just the takeaway on that was you're stressing your body in training. You're doing things inside, producing cortisol on levels that you may have never produced before because this is all new to you. But if you have other stressors and things going on, it's just going to it's just going to magnify and cause a disaster if you don't start to curb it with some of the methods that I described in that video. And then as well, again, it's no video without talking about fueling. I've been posting examples in the group lately, in the private group, just so we can see, you know, what I'm just letting you know what's working for athletes that are successful, what's working for me, what I've learned, what I'm getting better at. It's just a constant evolving thing. But some of the takeaways are just be consistent, use what works. If you find a product that works, stick with it, play around with it, add a little more, get that GI to accept a little bit more, and just work your way. That's why these longer sessions are so important. And if you're just gonna haphazardly not fuel yourself for a long session, you just wasted a great opportunity to test the fueling strategy that you're going to have on race day. And some of the quote, you know, think about it. What I like to say is, I always like to bring something that you'll remember is fuel the fire or fuel the task at hand. So think about that when you're getting prepped for tomorrow's workout. You work up in the morning and you know what you got to do for the day. Think about that. Coach is telling you, you got to fuel the fire, fuel the task at hand today. What do I have on tap? What am I going to do? A thought that I had recently was I'm going to go down to my little, you know, fueling station I have down in the gym one day. I'm going to film this video soon. And I'm basically going to take, since my training's picking up right now for 70.3 event, I'm going to basically take the workouts I have for the week. I'm going to go through them day by day and just say, you know, it's second nature to me by now when I know hour easy run, this is what I'm doing. I have an interval track workout, 1 hour, this is what I'm doing. I have a bike ride. It doesn't matter if it's 2, 3, 4, or 8 hours. I know what I'm doing per hour for the bike. And I'll have that discussion where it's just got to become that routine. And you got to kind of know what your body is going to need for that day and adjust accordingly based on conditions, time, and intensity that you have for your workouts. And I think the last thing, and again, that nutrition video as well, the basics of endurance nutrition, check it out again if you're still struggling. Those videos are meant to spark the conversation. They're not meant to solve all of your questions, but it's meant to spark the conversation. Then we'll be able to dive in and kind of address some more concerns that you may have on top of that. And then as well, the last thing is don't beat yourself up. You know, you got to have confidence in this sport. You know, you're all doing amazing things out there, and you're doing things, some of you, for the first time, certain mileages that, you know, a few months back when we first started talking, you came on board for coaching, you know, you were nervous about things. You maybe second guessed yourself, and we're getting into the thick of it now. I'm seeing these bigger rides, longer runs, swim sessions, and it's all starting to come together. And just understand, like, you gotta not be ego-driven or cocky. We don't want that at all in this sport. But you do want to have confidence. You want to have confidence in your training, your ability, your decisions, and knowing that, yeah, I am putting the work in, and kind of look what I'm doing now versus what I was maybe couldn't do a couple months ago, and realize how far you've come. This sport is humbling because there's so much to learn. There's so much I'm still learning every start line, every finish line, every training block, every season. And you don't need to learn it all at once. The greatest part about this is, you know, there's big concepts that we need to learn, the bottom of that pyramid, that's going to build you this big foundation. And the longer we stay there, the wider this foundation gets. And the more we can put into this big bucket of the beginnings of this endurance journey. It doesn't need to be perfect. You don't need this little base and this little pyramid. We want to make it big, solid, and just be able to hold everything. And then as we go up, season after season, race after race, a race after a race, you just add new things, new methods, new habits, new rituals, new things that'll take you to the next level for yourself. Because remember, that's what this journey is all about. It's not about beating anybody else, seeing what other people are doing, wondering why they're doing this workout. Oh my God, why I should be doing that mileage too. It's about you. It's about your journey. It's about you versus yourself. And it's about you getting to that finish line of that crazy idea that you had when you first signed up for that race. And it's about getting there smart, healthy, and with a damn smile on your face. And that's what it's all about. So again, I hope this motivates some of you to just get into August, get this training block going, make those smart decisions. Let's all get this done together. I'll see you out there. Stay safe, stay healthy, balance that life 1 mile at a time. I'll catch you on the next one.